Alright, so it is time to talk about another knife. Today we're talking about this Ozark Trail knife, part of the Walmart 397 line of all their Ozark Trail knives. This one is, I believe, the only traditional lockback that they were offering. The rest of them were different liner locks and more tactical type designs. But this is just a classic little design. It's a little lockback, clip point blade. This one happens to be two-tone or two different wood inserts. All right, and I'm fairly certain that this is just the natural pine or something that's stained, and this is probably the same, just stained black. I highly doubt there's a natural dark wood like that, but really interesting. So because there's not a whole lot to talk about in this particular type of knife, other than whether it's good or not, and I do think it's really good, especially for the price. What I thought I'd do is compare it directly to something that's a little bit more expensive, but nothing completely out of the range. So what I'm going to compare it to is this. This is a Schrade Golden Bear. This particular one has a maple burlwood scale on it, but these are normally, with the original scales, they're like a $20 knife, $20 to $30, depending on where you're getting it. All right, this is the model 6OT, but like I said, these have some different scales. So this particular knife is probably more in the $30 or $40 range. But I wanted to kind of use it as a staple in comparing the quality. All right, so before I get into the comparisons and my opinions and all that stuff, yes, there is a new background, as you can see here. Okay, Thanksgiving's over, which means it's time to decorate for Christmas. So you'll probably see this background until Christmas. I might lift it up or remove it for certain videos, but generally speaking, you'll probably see it. So if you're watching this video in the middle of next year, or who knows when, that's where it is. It's almost Christmas time, so that's why we got the background. So in comparing these knives, first let's look at the fit and finish on our Walmart knife. All right, you can see the everything is lined up actually really nicely, considering the price point here. There's no significant gaps at all. Okay, in the scales and the liners. I mean, it's actually really well done. The only thing I saw was right here. There's some extra metal, or the metal itself was crimped over, so you can see the little line in the lighter wood on top there. Besides that, I mean, it's butting up against all the different pieces fairly nicely, and the actual inserts do come up all the way to where the metal parts are, which is nice. You can see a little bit of weird crimping on this pin right here, but really not that bad at all. All right, now compare that to this, let's call it $20 to $30 knife. All right, so you can see the same deal. There's actually a little bit more of a gap, I think, with the lock bar to that liner on the right side here than there is. Let me give you a side by side so you can see that directly. This actually has a little bit of a tighter fit than this Schrade here. All right, so you roll down. Now let's look specifically at the locks. They both have a little bit of a gap here, which is normal, but you can see also that the piece on the inside is slightly rounded on the Schrade. Same deal, with the actual lock bars as well. So, not perfect by any means, but again, considering this is a $4 knife and this is more of a $20 to $30 knife, I mean, they're almost identical in the flaws that they have. Almost identical, which is amazing. You can see the centering on the Schrade is pretty decent, whereas this one, not so great. And of course, this is pinned, so it's not adjustable. All right, so as far as the actual lockup, you can see there's no half stop here at all. All right, but it locks up nice and solid. You hear a very audible snap. You can hear that and feel it. There's no wiggle at all. There's no side to side. There's no up and down. It is rock solid, okay, compared to the Schrade here. Same deal. You can hear that, loud audible click. No movement at all in any direction. The reason I picked this one, this is my most used lockback of 2016, really. This is one I keep by my desk and I use all the time. So that's why I wanted to kind of compare it to this. Something I love so much, which is, 4 to 6 times the price, depending on, where you're getting it, as this. All right, so something else to look forward to with lockbacks like this. Not only do you want it to have a nice lockup itself, but also you want to make sure that it is cut the lock bar in such a way, or actually it's the tang on the inside, so that the blade retains inside, okay? You want that springiness. So as you're pulling this blade out, you want some kind of a, you know, a force pulling back, all right? Until you get to about this point here. This is where it's gonna stay open. All right, on the Schrade, comparing it to, same, see how it wants to snap shut? About the same point. All right, the reason for this obviously is so that the knife doesn't open up in your pocket. You don't want it to accidentally open, okay? So you want that to be able to spring shut like that. That's a good feature to have in the knife. So this one, again, is not gonna open up in the pocket, all right, and cause any kind of damage or injuries or anything like that, which is really good. All right, so let's take a close-up look at these blades. Again, in comparison, you can see the grinds are almost the same, almost identical in quality. The nail nicks are almost identical as well. And it's a $4 knife compared to a $20 or $30 knife. All right. The point, not too bad at all. Could be sharper, could be duller. It's kind of right in the middle there. No problems with it at all. What I was really surprised to see is there is a blade choil on this, and it is sharpened perfectly all the way down the choil, and there's no buff marks here like on the other models. Okay, all the other Ozark trail knives, you can see in the sharpening process, they literally took off the finish down here at the ricasso. So again, nice little blade choil just like we have on this Schrade here. All right, almost identical in the quality. And this is very sharp. I have to say I was very impressed with it. I mean, considering its price, it's not, you know, comparable to $50 and $100 knives. But for a $4 knife, it's just as sharp and maintains its edge just as much as most of my $20 to $30 knives. So I have to say, just quite impressive. Something else that I noticed with this one, which you see a lot of times with cheaper, or I should say more affordable lockbacks. This one does not have this problem, but down here, where we're talking about that gap before, on the Walmart knife, the lock bar itself is raised slightly. All right, so if I take my finger and rub upwards, I can catch the very end of this lock bar. It's raised just ever so slightly. Totally unnoticeable. You will never even know that's a problem, which is not really a problem. It's just a finite detail that a knife enthusiast may find. Okay, whereas on the Schrade, it doesn't have that. It's nice and smooth with the frame. All right, but other than that, I mean, you know, it's kind of a medium-sized knife. It's got some meat to it. I can get a full 4-finger grip, which is very nice, very comfortable. You can see, I mean, it's a very traditional lockback style. There's no jimping or thumb ramps or anything like that. Surprisingly enough, all the edges, like on the bolsters here, all along the frame, nothing is sharp. It actually feels finished. On a lot of the other Ozark trail knives, the edges were just so, they came to such a, you know, sharp angle that it was uncomfortable. It felt like, you know, it wasn't a finished knife. This does actually feel finished. So again, the only real complaints on this is the little bit of botched metal work right here, where again, that was probably just crimped improperly, or, you know, assembled improperly, whatever, and then just that little bit of raised lock bar. If I happen to rub this down, you know, when you're using it, you don't really feel it that much, but again, manipulating it in the hand, if it rubs ever so slightly, you can feel that just a tiny, tiny bit. But, I mean, damn, come on. $4, it's really, really cool. This is probably one of my favorite of the bunch overall, just because of the fact that it is a traditional, you know, type knife, and it's not some cheesy, you know, cheap liner lock. And although that may be your bag, if you want to go traditional, I mean, this is the one to get. I like this one a lot more than the wood liner lock version, which I like the liner lock wood one more than some of the other models, but I just think it's pretty cool. It's damn cool. This is something you can give your father, grandfather, or great-grandfather, you know, and they would really appreciate. And to be honest, of all the different designs, I would probably trust this lockback to perform way more than any of the liner locks. I mean, in general, I would prefer a lockback over a liner lock, but specifically, you know, with cheaper knives, that this one will probably last longer without any kind of failures. Now, that being said, I haven't seen any failures or heard of any failures yet on the locks on the Walmart knives. But again, you know, I haven't talked to a lot of people about it, just a few people who I happen to know that has them. If you have a Walmart knife, specifically a liner lock, but if you have any model and you had a lock failure, please let me know down below. Also, I haven't visited the forums in a long time, so if maybe there's a thread about someone who's had the lock fail, you guys can post me a link to that or something like that, or send a message with the link. But, you know, so far, they all seem pretty decent. But I just really like this one a lot. It's super, super cool. If you're kind of on the fence and you want to pick one of these up just to try, this is the one to get, in my opinion. This is probably the best bang for your buck, even though they're all, you know, really good quality for the $4 price tag. Again, it's hard to compare that to much because not a lot of $4 knives out there that even hold together. Never mind, you know, stand up to, you know, EDC work or just any kind of testing. But I don't know. I kind of think this is my favorite of all of them. Even though I liked a couple of the other models more than some of them. Like, for example, the very first one I had, I liked a lot, that tan, you know, flipper version. I did like the wood scaled liner lock one. That was pretty cool. They had the jeweling all around it. But if I really can only have one, it would be this one. Definitely. So I'd say snatch these up while you can. Get a bunch of these. I mean, for $4, get 3, 4, 5 of them. And again, Christmas is around the corner. So great stocking stuffers for sure. So there you go. There's my review on this you know, traditional lockback from the Ozark Trail lineup at Walmart. Definitely, definitely worth grabbing. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you soon. Take care.